Hey there, fam. It's your girl, Life Coach Vaughn. I just want to take some time to introduce myself. I'm a certified life coach that focuses on helping women to understand the importance of being fly, with a key principle that I can give my best when I have it to give. First, loving yourself is a phrase that I use to help put things into perspective that it's truly hard to feel a sense of fulfillment in life if you don't take care of yourself first. Being fly is not about forsaking all others. It's about prioritizing your needs, wants, and desires. Well, I'm so excited to be here with you all today because we're going to have a little talk, a little discussion about invalid validation. I can recall that it was just a couple of weeks ago when I was sitting right here at my desk with this long to-do list on it, scrolling through Instagram. No, scrolling through Instagram was not on my to-do list. But I came upon this post with these three beautiful, black, queenly, smiling faces with these big, bold letters behind them that says, Success Women's Conference 2020, become a speaker. So without a second thought, I clicked the link and took the bait, probably much like some of you. But I began to eagerly fill out my information. But then I paused and I was like, you know what? Let me make sure this is not a scam. So I got onto my laptop to make sure, one, that this was a real event, and two, make sure the link that I clicked on was not going to be spamming me to death. So I was matching up the, branding content and .info. Okay, all right, well, look, I won't apologize. That's just the ex-cybersecurity systems engineer in me. But look, once I verified it was okay, I continued along the application process to become a speaker. And no, becoming a speaker or filling out the application was not on my to-do list either. Y'all, don't judge me. I'm starting to feel a little judged. Anyway, I came to this option that said, schedule your speaker's interview. So I chose to schedule it eventually for like 10 days out, which I figured would be plenty of time for me to think about a presentation topic. So I sat there contemplating, maybe I'll talk about my book. Okay, well, maybe I'll talk about being fly because that's my go-to. You know what? I decided on this. So I went ahead and put in there my presentation topic. After then, I was like, you know what? I'm going to finish this application process. But then I paused again. I turned around to talk to my daughter, who was nestled so comfortably on the futon couch that's in my office. And I asked her, do you think I should apply for this speaking engagement? You know what? I'm definitely gonna apply because I feel like it's a great opportunity. You know what? And I also have a saying that says, let them tell you no. But what do you think I should speak about? Because that's going to be key. And she said with her soft, confident voice, Mom, whatever you choose, I know it's gonna be good regardless. So it really doesn't matter. And I said to her, you know what? You're absolutely right. So I went ahead and completed the application process. Then I heard a voice so clear, write down this experience. As I tend to listen to that soft, still voice, I was led to write down this experience in a very specific journal. So I got up and I grabbed this beautiful, multicolored purple and pink journal that on the cover, it read, I trust the next chapter because I know the author. Of course, I was tickled at this point, y'all. And then I opened the book, and to the first available page, right down at the bottom right-hand corner of that page, in gold glaring letters, it read, 2 Timothy 1:7, declare over yourself, God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Y'all, at that point, my spirit leaped. I could have probably ran around the house at that time. But you want to know why? Because he met me at that very moment where I was. Y'all, I was about to have church. However, I don't want to take y'all to church. I would like to take you to a very specific moment in time that I know seems all too familiar to most, if not all of us. I want to bring your attention to that moment where we start to question whether or not we're even capable of doing what we initially set out to do. Time and time again, it's that moment we sought to compare ourselves to others, where we allow those self-limiting beliefs and self-limiting behaviors to rise and overshadow our track record of confidence. See, what I did tell y'all is that when I was completing the application process, there was a statement that said, submission of this application does not guarantee you will be selected. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fair enough. I mean, everybody can't become a speaker, right? So let me take a look at the current lineup. Let me see what the roster looks like. So I clicked on the speakers and I was like, oh, okay. The voice that speaks the loudest wins. Y'all, Dr. Sonja was on there. How am I gonna, let's see who else they have on there. Oh, success runs in our race. I love that book. Dr. Fraser's on there too. Y'all, I lost it. When I saw, and you gotta be hungry. They have Les Brown as a speaker. Y'all, he is one of my favorites. And then I started looking at, oh wow, she's the CEO and he's the CFO and he has 30,000 IG. You know, have you ever found yourself scrambling to determine how high the bar was set? Look, let me finish. Then we go so far as to start calling on people and getting advice on if we should or if we shouldn't. That's exactly what I did with my daughter. See, here's the funny thing about this, y'all. Believe it or not, we strategically reach out to individuals who's probably going to side with what we want to do anyway. See, my daughter, she's a 20-year-old senior in college who believes in her mother so much that she believes if I took enough time and really put my mind to it, that I could probably create a cure to COVID-19 in our art room. Yeah, she believes in me that much. See, I didn't ask my daughter because she was conveniently in the room with me. I wanted to speak at this conference anyway. See, I had her weigh in because I already knew she would give me that little push in that direction. And on the flip side, if we don't want to do something, we know exactly who to call. Girl, no, I sure wouldn't. No, I don't think you should. Do you understand? See, here's the thing. Seeking validation in and from others can be a very slippery slope, and it can be directly related to or lead to a lack of self-confidence, low self-esteem, and sometimes depression. We are looking for validation in employers, questioning whether or not our skills are comparable to others so that we won't be affected by the downsizing. And those that have been affected by the downsizing are struggling with thoughts of inadequacies and self-doubt due to no fault of their own, though. We're looking for validation in our relationships and our families because our ability to provide financial or emotional support has changed. As parents, y'all, let's talk about this homeschool thing. We're looking for validation from our children, questioning our ability to be patient and teach our children elementary and middle school concepts. We've been tasked with becoming full-time teachers. Oh, wait a minute, including but not limited to the PE instructor, the administrator, the lunch lady, and the janitor. So let's talk about it. Who are you looking to for validation? We'll cover 3 points and I'll be out of your way. Recognize your position, maintain your posture, and harness your power. As if the pre-existing glamorous world of social media wasn't enough pressure, having us looking for likes, the economic downturn has definitely taken it up a notch. We've been consumed by this unhealthy attachment to validation. Now more than ever, we're questioning whether or not we hold value. I want to take some time to help shape your perspective when it comes to our need or desire for validation and how it truly serves us poorly. If we don't get the validation that we are looking for from others, it could very well lead to our demise. Honestly, you may never ever even get the validation that you're looking for from others. And this is why we should look within for validation. See, I'm a lover of official definitions because we all have the tendency to assign our own different meanings to the same word. So, to help us all be on the same page, let's start with the word validation. There are several definitions that dictionary.com assigns to the word validation. I want to focus on this one. It says recognition or affirmation that a person or their feelings or opinions are valid or worthwhile. Wow. Can you believe a definition includes the consideration of someone else's opinion of whether or not a person or their feelings are worthwhile? See, when most of us hear the word worthwhile, we'll probably think of the word value, right? It's rather difficult to have a discussion about validation without discussing the word value and how we measure our opinion of us against others' opinion of us. The author David Lieberman says, whenever you're dealing with someone or something of an unknown value, the first one who places a value on it establishes its worth. As we discuss the word validation, at this stage, I want you to recognize your position. Your position is to set your value high. Setting your value high has nothing to do with what others think of you because they aren't even involved in the discussion at this point. According to Lieberman, you should be the first one to place value on yourself. Now, if you did this, you wouldn't need to seek validation because you've already had first dibs on what you choose to believe about you and your value. Don't you recognize your position? Please understand that circumstances and people's thoughts of you, they do not define you, and they surely shouldn't destroy you. That stuff, that's there to develop you. People may not like it, but they will definitely have to respect it. I dare you. I triple dare you to go to one of these stores who sells bags for $5,000 and tell them, I don't think your bag is worth $5,000. They'll probably do one of three things. They'll say they didn't ask you, they may ask you to leave, or they may laugh at you. And may I add a fourth? They may do all of them. See, people who don't have an unhealthy need for validation understand that validation is reserved for tickets and papers and not people. They know their worth because they've already established it. This is how I want you to start establishing your worth. If you don't know how to do it, I want you to write a list of how many things would be difficult or fall apart if you weren't around. How many people wouldn't be inspired or encouraged if you decided to keep your words of peace and motivation to yourself? Please, by all means, recognize your position. Now, let's discuss how to maintain your posture and the important role it plays in invalid validation. Dictionary.com defines invalid as not true based on erroneous information or unsound reasoning. Do you understand what that means? It means there's no need for you to look for validation in others when they don't even have enough information about you to assign a value to you. They can only go based on the limited information you've told them about you or what they think they know about you. They don't know your full story. They can't take into consideration your private victories over your health challenges. They can't speak to the triumphant battles of the mind that you've had to deal with in the dark by yourself. They can't speak to the internal struggle of your soul that you've persevered through. So if you can get through that, by all means, the validation you're seeking, no matter the situation, it's invalid. So please maintain your posture. Stay steadfast. Well, Vaughn, how is that done? I want you to take a moment and reflect on how many things you've overcome because you aren't giving yourself enough credit. If you're finding it really hard to pull or think of something, go back through your social media memories and scroll through your timeline and see some of the things that you were going through. If that doesn't work for you, visit or call someone from your old neighborhood or maybe someone from your high school. I promise you, they'll remember, they'll be able to bring that stuff up. Now, even in your moments of weakness, the posture that you have now established, the fact is you are still here, and that in itself is a victory. Now, moving on, not only should you recognize your position and do all you can to maintain your posture, but most importantly, you must harness your power through self-validation. Merriam-Webster's definition of self-validation is the feeling of having recognized, confirmed, or established one's own worthiness or legitimacy. As we talk about self-validation, here's the stage where I need you to harness your power. If you can recall the beginning of the story, I was so eager to sign up and become a speaker, disregarding everything that I was taught in Cybersecurity 101. Clicking on an unknown link, y'all, that is a big no-no. I was so excited that I couldn't even think straight. I was so confident in my abilities until when? It was when I started comparing myself and started to ask myself, if I or should I? I spent a good 20 minutes diffusing my power. If I would have continued to think about my track record, there would have been no need for me to search for who else was speaking. Can you recall a time when you diffused your power? Let me use this example. Have you ever experienced a baby learning to walk? After they've gotten a few good steps in, they get so excited, and even if they fall, they get right back up. But then they start to feel so confident and start to move quicker, almost as if they're attempting to run. See, we need to take our cue from them. Now that we've gotten the hang of it, let's take that momentum and run with it. Can you imagine if you would have held on to that initial excitement and took it into the next task and the next challenge? Can you imagine how many more risks you would have taken in life? How many more things do you think you would have experienced and accomplished? I need you to harness your power of self-validation and make a conscious decision not to look for validation in others, because that outside influence, it can taint and disrupt your power flow. When we begin to have an unhealthy attachment to seeking validation in others, I need you to tap into those initial thoughts of excitement and boldness. Take a trip down memory lane and pull on those things at which you excelled. I want you to start reflecting on those things that you were able to learn and grow from. It's so important to be in the present at that moment. Pull out your voice recorder. Pull out your phone and start taping yourself if you need to. Verbalize how inspired, motivated, determined, and ignited you feel. Even when you get discouraged, you can go back and play it. Whatever you do, please harness your power. So you can take that power and move into the next phase with great momentum. These times are filled with great uncertainty and are the shared concerns of millions across the world. If by any chance you find yourself seeking validation, remember, you can't stay there, because he has already equipped us with all that we need, and that is power, love, and a sound mind. Declare over yourself, I will recognize my position. I will maintain my posture. I will harness my power. I want you to look no further than within, because the rest is invalid validation. It's your girl, Life Coach Vaughn, y'all. By the way, on that long daily to-do list, please make sure self-validation is one thing you get done. Thank you all so much for your time. Please go to lifecoachvaughn.me and subscribe so that you'll be able to get a free pamphlet with information on how you can deal with invalid validation.